Hello, beautiful people. My name is Joyelle Zealous, and this is going to be my first ever YouTube video. I never recorded myself before. I'm going to do a quick story time. So if this is something that you like, just hit like, share, and subscribe. I think that's what everyone's been saying. And yeah, let's go. I'm going to just record this straight through. Since this is my first one, and the first story time is going to be about my transitioning out of a homeless shelter. So a lot of people didn't know that last year my daughter and myself, we were residing in a family shelter. We were living in a family shelter for a little bit over a year, and we were in the Bronx, one of the toughest neighborhoods in New York City. Bronx, stand up. But anyway, really this video is to motivate any mothers, any single fathers, any families that are going through hardships and hard, circumstances, where you may be in this situation right now, or you may be considering, where you should live, or if you should continue to live in the circumstances that you are in. I'm here as like a testimony to say, walk with God. And if your faith is not with God, whatever higher being that you believe in, I'm telling you, walk with God. Like, God will never leave you without. You will never be placed in any situation that you can't handle. So if you're going through any kind of domestic violence situation, get out, okay? And I'll leave a number at the bottom if you need help with that. If you're going through family situations and you're feeling uncomfortable, or in your own home, or if you are just financially not able to survive on your own, and you don't know what to do, or if you're in the shelter and it's mentally, you have to be very strong. So if you're there right now and you're watching this, trust me, you're stronger than you even fathom, than a lot of people would even think. And I want to pause to say I'm sorry about the noise. I live in New York City, if I haven't said it before, and it's just so much going on out here. So my story about the shelter was, I lived in New York. I went away to school, and when I came, I decided to come back to New York City. And when I came back to New York City, I went, like most, college grads, went to move back in with their parents. And at that time, the job market was really, really slow. And I went a lot of months without a job, just looking for my degree, what I went to school in. And I just couldn't find any work. So what I was told to do is, Joyelle, you need to live. If you're living here, you need to have a job, and you need to pay some bills around here. So I was told to apply for a job at a company I'm not going to promote, but I was working in corporate America, and I was making a lot of money. I walked away from that 7 years later, but I think that's another story time for you guys as to reasons why. But I was working in corporate America. I was making money. I moved out of my parents' home, and I was living by myself. So I was living by myself in New York City, one bedroom, 21, 22-year-old, had a car, very successful, just whatever my friends didn't have, I gave it to them. That was just how we shared love or whatever. And throughout that time, I met somebody, and we started dating, and we were in a relationship for a couple of years, and then I became a mom. Shortly after, I became a single mom, and I think that would be another story for you guys as to how and why. But right now, I'm a single mom. solely doing it on my own, everything, completely. And when I became a mom, I decided, I was living on my own after that whole transition happened. And after a while of living in New York City and the rent going high, you have to move from place to place. Not every rent stays the same. Like a 1-bedroom in New York City could cost anywhere from $1,200 a month, depending on the neighborhood, to about $18 a month. And honestly, it could be a lot more with living in New York City. But I believe my rent at the time, it went up to $21.75 a month, and that's not including utilities. And that was, at that time, I was like, okay, I can afford this, but I'm struggling a little bit because I have to pay for daycare and all that. So I decided to move back with my family, which was not a choice that they agreed on. They wanted me to stay. So when I did move back in with my family, hi guys, love you. Culturally, there was a lot of just things that just didn't resonate with how I wanted to raise my child. And also culturally, if anybody knows, like, I don't know who's watching this right now, but I'm sure it's going to reach a lot of people. For all my Caribbean and West Indian, and even some, even the Africans that are watching this, you know that it doesn't matter how old you are still a child. Like, you cannot do certain things in your parents' house. Like, you cannot. So I had a lot of different ribs as far as that goes. And then unfortunately, we had a loss in my family, which really put my whole family that was already facing a lot of different depressions. It put them in a really hard place, because we lost an uncle that was very dear to us to cancer in our home, and he passed away in my womb. So with that being said, he was a very happy, loving person, never smoked a day in his life. He died from lung cancer. He was around the Twin Towers when it fell, but he didn't receive any symptoms or any kind of I'm sorry. I didn't expect that. He didn't receive any kind of diagnosis until, like, I want to say like 10 years later, or and that really put, like, that was my mother's brother, and that really put her in a space where she was very upset and she couldn't handle a lot. And unfortunately, it showed. It's one thing with you, like us adults, we can hide our emotions and we can, like, suppress certain things, and we don't have to discuss our business with everybody. I mean, if we don't want to. But when it comes to children, they speak, and they may vent in other ways, and that really did affect my child. And I will talk about the steps of what I did to diffuse that maybe in another story time, but the video is really to show you how I became homeless. So it came to the point where my daughter faced depression, and I decided, the school was calling, and I decided to take her to a therapist. And the therapist, after listening to my daughter, decided to have her speak to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist and the therapist said, the household right now is not the best setting. for her. So you're gonna have to figure out maybe something that you can do. So that day, I was in grad school for my master's. I picked my daughter up and I sat down with her, and I had a conversation with her, and she at that time, I want to say, was 7. And I said to her, I said, you know, would you like to move or would you like to stay? And I was like, if we move, you could come visit, but like if you stay, like, you know, let me know, like, are you happy here? And my daughter said she wasn't happy and she wanted to move. And when she said that, I just started packing my bag. I started packing my bag. Like, I'm reliving this while I'm saying this to you guys. And can you imagine not knowing where you're going, but just knowing that you want your daughter to be happy. You want yourself to be happier. You want to be in an independent space. You don't want to be dependent. And you just know that this is not it. Right here in the situations and the different things that you're facing or experiencing is just not it anymore. Love your family. Love my family. But I have to wait until this passes. I had to do this video, I want to say like 3 different times, because it was just all kind of thing. Like the fire alarm was going off in somebody's house, and every time they fanned it and I started the video, it would go off again. And I was just like, you know what, this devil is a liar. I'm going to tell the story today because it's meant to be. Because I just went out on a whim, and when all of this was happening, I was like, oh no, I need to do this video. So anyway, I packed our stuff in my car and I called a number I will put down below, and I told them my story, and I believe it was Safe Horizons, but I will definitely make sure that I put the right name and number down below. And I told them my story, and I told them of different things that I've experienced, and I was told where to go. And from there I went to the Bronx, and I want to say the first night was the scariest night, I want to say, of my life. I would say that, because I was put in a temporary spot for a few hours and I had to sleep there, and it was like in the middle of nowhere, and it was cold. And like when you got there, like after a while of waiting for placement, sorry for that, saw my nose ring, just wanted to, after hours of sitting on a hard bench waiting for placement, and you get there and it's an unmarked building, and there's like one person not even at a desk that gives you some bed sheets, and you go and you lay down, and it's cold, and there's no blinds, and there's not even a shower curtain. Like, it was crazy. And I stayed up most of the night. Like, I just made sure that my daughter was fine. And in the morning, they wake you up. They wake you up early, and they bang on everyone's door, and you just go back to the office. And when we went back to the office, I stayed there the whole day. She couldn't go to school. None of the kids could go to school. They had the Department of Ed like office on a certain floor for the kids to have like playtime, because they knew like the kids couldn't go to school because like they needed to meet your kid. And I was interviewed by so many different people, and I was getting placement that day. And the first, like when I got the placement, I said, okay, this is the address where we'll be living temporarily until we get, I get on my feet, because I was in grad school. Okay, and I had left a job that in corporate America I wasn't happy with. I went back to school. I was a substitute teacher. I was substitute teaching, so that money is like It was coming because I was a regular, but it was very little. But then I started student teaching. And when you start student teaching, sorry, I got a mess. When you start student teaching with the DOE, you can't work for them. So I was off the payroll, still at my job, off the payroll, and I was student teaching. So I wasn't getting paid at all. So I would student teach during the day, and I would pick my daughter up and I would go to grad school at night with her. And when we got the key, I'm so sorry about this. When we got the keys and we got the address, actually we didn't get the address, we got the keys. I don't feel like pausing this video, guys. Anyway, so when oh my god. All right, so when we got to the shelter, the first thing I see, to be honest with you, is a lady that is out of her mind, drunk, and a man fist fighting in front of the place. And I'm like, oh my god, this is where I'm staying. And the security is just standing out there watching. And we go inside and I tell them who I am and I give them my paperwork. And basically I had to sign away. I had to sign a lot of documents. I had to sign a lot of documents. And I had to meet my case manager. And the way I was treated throughout this process was not the best. But we got through it. And I got my key to my room. And my daughter and I made it a home. And at first, I want to tell you, the first couple of weeks, I was like, I'm not buying anything for here. I'll be out. Like, I'm not staying here, but gotta be crazy. And I was looking without any income. And then after a while, I was like, you know what, let me pray. I still went to church in Queens. I still travel. I still have my family. I still went to dance. I went to dance, and a lot of people, I still went out, and a lot of people didn't even know, I guess until now, this video, that I was homeless. But I believe, like, after a few weeks, and I want to say weeks, like, it took me a few weeks to be like, you know what, all right, I have to make this my home. I want to say after 3 months, to be honest with you, I started making it a home. I started buying curtains. I started buying flowers for myself. I love flowers. I love flowers. I started buying them fresh flowers. You know, I love to cook. So I always was cooking, but I made sure I bought not paper plates, but nice, you know, plates. I made sure, you know, we couldn't have a lot. We couldn't have TV. We couldn't have AC. But I just made sure that I had a play area and a section for my daughter. Like, I hung up all her paintings. And if you're in a shelter, like, make your place beautiful. Like, when I tell you, when they used to do room checks for me, they used to say, wow, I don't even feel like I'm in a shelter, because I walk in here and you just have everything. Because then I had my prayer corner with my altar, and I was very, very stern about, and still to this day, about prayer, like the power of prayer and faith. Like, just continue to talk to God, talk to your higher being, talk to whoever it is that's higher, okay, that's for the better good. Talk to them, okay? Talk, and never give up. I'm telling you, even when you think that nobody is listening, there is always God on your side walking with you. Always. You will always meet someone that is connected to your purpose. You will always meet someone that is there to teach you something. Be teachable. Okay? Be teachable. Be receptive. Be respectful. Because you never know who it is that you're coming across. Be respectful. Don't let anybody talk down about your situation. That's one thing I want to say. Oh my God. I'm just like, when I did the video, I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to say. I never ever imagined going through this situation, the circumstance that I had with my family. I never saw myself ever being already a college grad, becoming homeless in my master's program, and completing the master's program, might I add, homeless, and beginning to teach. My first year of teaching in New York City public school, I was homeless, okay? No one knew. Only like some people that I told, that I trusted, okay? Even some students. There's some students that were homeless, that were living in the shelters, that I told them. I didn't tell my coworker, I told them. There's no way that you are gonna just say, because I'm homeless, I can't do this. You can do, because that was a lie. You can do anything you put your mind to. You could do anything that you pray for, you will receive with faith. With faith. There is nobody that can stop what God has planned for you in your life. Nobody. Nothing. Not a dagger, not any kind of people talking noise about you, not a potion, nothing. Walk with God. And I'm telling you, walk with God, okay? And you will be fine. And I think I said this for 2 minutes straight, but I cannot stress enough. You are going to feel like times like giving up. You're gonna feel like, yo, like, these people are messing with me. You know how many case managers I had that were literally like, how many people that would want to get close to you, to learn you, to try to use something against you. And it never works. When you walk with God. So all I'm going to say is, with that being said, because I thought this was going to be 7 minutes, but I guess I had to tell you a little bit of the background of why. I'm here in my apartment. I'm on my balcony. It's a nice place. I think my next video will show you how I decorated this place. When it concerns to my family, I consider myself the black sheep, because there's a lot, like, the new term I think is like generational curses. Love my family, but there's a lot to be just detached starting from me, and I know that was the calling on my life, and that's why I had to go through what I had to go through. Right now, you know, forgiveness is key to all things in life. You gotta forgive, not only for them, for yourself. You can't walk this planet with just having animosity and like anger, and this person did this, or this person didn't do this, or this person should have did this, or this person should have been there, or this person doesn't understand, or this. You can't walk through life like that. You cannot carry all those burdens and baggage. Life is short, life is sweet, and you have to give your burdens to, you just gotta give them up. You just gotta give them up. Alright? You just gotta give them up. You cannot carry it. Okay? They're too heavy for you. You gotta let it go. And also, honestly, you'll be surprised what flows back to you when you do. You'll learn so much. And all I have to say with this, I'm pretty sure I left out a lot of different key things, but all I'm going to say to anybody that's living in the shelter, you will get through it. Be respectful. Be faithful. Live your life. It is jail in there, but live your life. Live your life like you don't even live there. Just go there when it's time to go to sleep. Don't get caught up with all the drama that happens inside of there. Because trust me, there's a lot that you have to like be strong for inside of there. Trust me, I know, I've been through it. If anybody has any questions for me, you can always put them in the comments. I'm trying to see if I left out anything. If you guys have any suggestions on how to edit videos, I'll take those too. Yeah, and don't let your circumstances define you. Don't let anybody sit there and tell you because you are where you're at that you're not good enough. You are enough. And that's what I'm going to leave off with. You are enough. You are loved. And thank you. I hope you subscribe and join the tribe.